Deep frozen Arctic microbes are waking up. Thawing permafrost is releasing microorganisms, with consequences that are still largely unknown.
Here's a summary of the article.
In the last 10 years, warming in the Arctic has outpaced projections so rapidly that scientists are now suggesting that the poles are warming 4 times faster than the rest of the globe. Arctic lands offer unexplored microbial biodiversity and microbial feedbacks, including the release of carbon to the atmosphere. In the Arctic Ocean, planktonic chloroflexi bacteria recently acquired genes used for degrading carbon from land-based actinobacteria species. As melt-swollen Arctic rivers carried sediments from thawing permafrost to the sea, the genes for processing permafrost carbon were also transported. The microbiomes of the Arctic contain resilient and tenacious cold-adapted microbes. With the coalescence of microbes reawakening from the deep and surface conditions unprecedented in human history, it is challenging to assess risks accurately without improved Arctic microbial datasets. For all of these reasons, we must come up with guidelines for future Arctic research.
This post received a score of 36,000, with an upvote ratio of 94%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
Arctic microbes plus COVID-infected minks equals interesting times.
Guess I should use more imagination with 2021 apocalypse bingo.
It's basically hellscape Mad Lids at this point.
Like, super dope hats that can also fuck you up.
It's basically snapbacks that say things like, plague and rise of the authoritarian right due to an unsuccessful real estate trust fund baby becoming president. The genius lies in the subtlety.
I think these were all phrases on Frank's hats on 30 Rock. Show was way ahead of its time.
Didn't everyone know this would happen eventually and no one did a fucking thing to stop it? Remember the hole in the ozone and we banned chemicals and stuff to make it stop growing and it did cause we all came together and took action even though a lot of things had to change. That was nice.
Climate change is 50 years away while profits are right now and the people making the most profit off all this likely will have died of old age by then. Life used to be very hard for people and they would sacrifice a lot so that the generations to come will have an easier life. Well, life is pretty fucking easy now and we're all too busy enjoying it to make sacrifices for the future. The point I'm making when saying climate change is 50 years away is that right now the effects aren't blatantly obvious and it hasn't hit close enough to the homes of the people who can make a difference. As soon as climate change affects their profits, then they'll start to take action.
Climate change is right now too, we already experience it increasing every year and it's going to get a lot worse fast.
50 degrees Fahrenheit in Cleveland this morning, less than a week to Thanksgiving. This is the weather we would get where I grew up in West Virginia, 240 driving miles south of where I am now. But the news talks about how lucky we are.
It's crazy, I live in Canada and remember building snow forts and the like as a kid at Christmas. Now we only really see snow late January into February and that's it.
Growing up in Sweden, I remember the massive hills of snow in the schoolyard that we'd dig tunnels through. Nowadays I feel like we're lucky to see snow at all in December. You can perhaps get a small layer of snow on the ground, but it's been a long, long time since I saw those massive snow hills in the schoolyards.
I live in Manchester in the north of England. Last winter we had no snow and not even a frost really. It just rained relentlessly. This is North Europe and we hardly had frost.
We had no proper snow for 4 years here in Berlin. The last time we had snow on Christmas Eve was in 2010. Shit's fucked up, yo.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.